the remote interview of Michael from Curve, and it will be moderated by Giannis from Chain Security. So thank you. 1 to 2 minutes. Thanks.
Hello. Oh, awesome. So welcome, everyone. I'm Yanis, and I'm here with Michael, the mastermind behind the Curve ecosystem. I'm really excited to talk with him about everything stablecoins and the new Llama Land that is launching soon. So, Michael, can you share a little bit more details about the history of Curve, how it started and how it evolved through time?
Yes, so I would say the idea of Curve came to me in 2019, and one thing it was inspired by was a liquid stake in derivatives, essentially. But another one, since about end of 2018, I was a heavy user of MakerDAO. So I didn't really want to sell my ETH, so I borrowed against it and had this DAI stablecoin. And I used it, like I sold it on Coinbase for USDC. Liquidity was not great, actually. So I thought that actually I can do much better, and figured out how to do that. So it came to be this stable swap algorithm. And in the beginning of 2020, Curve was launched, and that's how it started, I guess.
And how is it going now? Now we have the stable pools, we have the crypto pools, we have the Curve USD. How did we end up with the Curve USD?
Yes, and if you want, I can expand why what was the motivation behind Curve USD.
Sure.
Yeah, so basically, even while I was user of MakerDAO, the biggest problem with borrowing on chain and CDPs was liquidation. Like, you could have price of collateral dipping, and you could get liquidated, and then it bounces, and you couldn't really see your cryptos back. That was always not great, and I figured how to do it so that it's not happening like that, and embedded this in Curve USD as a soft liquidation mechanism.
Could you explain this mechanism a little bit more, the soft liquidation? Because I guess this is
Yes.
the innovative part about the protocol.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so basically it works like this. So as the price of collateral goes down, your collateral gets converted to stablecoin, which essentially covers your loan. But as the price of collateral goes up, if you have these proceeds of this conversion, then the algorithm converts stablecoin back to collateral as the price goes up. And I figured a way how to do that very efficiently, so that the losses are very, very small in this process. And that seems to work pretty well.
Could you share a little bit more details on how it works? For example, there is this Llama algorithm.
Yes, it is this something I called Llama, because you can make it an abbreviation which sounds like llama. That's cool, but it works like this. You essentially have load up your collateral as liquidity, and you move this liquidity around as the price changes. So you can imagine something like ticks in Uniswap 3, which actually which are positioned depending on the price of this collateral. And if when the tick starts going through the current price, it becomes profitable for arbitrage traders to um, actually trade with this system. And when they trade to their profit, they actually perform soft liquidation or soft deliquidation.
Okay, you mentioned Uniswap version 3, and the algorithm of Uniswap is, when you have assets in the pool, you have two assets, and when the price of one asset goes down, people trade out the other asset, right? But here,
Right.
it's kind of the inverse, right?
Opposite.
And
Yes,
how does
yes,
it work?
Yes, it actually is the inverse. And the thing is that if the price goes down, I would say instantly, it's not the inverse. But if it goes down slowly, then the price oracle actually moves and it starts moving all of the bands, or how we call them, or ticks in Uniswap, right? And then it starts behaving like the inverse, because prices of the ticks themselves, they change. It's like you have imagine limit orders on centralized exchanges moving around depending on what the current price is, and they actually move faster than the price moves, and that actually does the trick.
So I guess you are relying on an oracle, right? And
yes, and yes, indeed. So, and Oracle should have properties a little bit different from oracles which are traditionally used.
And what are these properties? What are you trying to achieve with them?
Yeah, so the most important thing is that the oracle we use should not necessarily change super fast when the price changes, but it should be very smooth. So when it's smooth, it's good. Um, and um, like if you use Chainlink, for example, you probably don't have exponential moving average oracles, and post-processing is, I would say it would use a lot of gas if it's done properly. So, but it happens so that in crypto pools, we do have proper exponential moving average on chain. So we actually use price oracles right from our pools.
Okay, yeah. So you have this exponential moving average. Do you have any other components that guarantee that the price you are getting is as fresh as possible and as reliable as possible?
Yeah, well, I think other components are not that important to the price oracle itself. We tried to use Chainlink to limit the price fluctuations from exponential moving average, and it appears that actually you get more loss by doing that. So it appears that it's better to not do that. But what really helped is to introduce a dynamic fee into automatic market maker. So if price changes very, very fast, then for a couple of minutes, the fee of the AMM is very, very high. And like if it happens to be profitable to arbitrage, the fees left to the AMM are massive, and they are compensating big losses from instant price movements. So it's we essentially had some markets which have that and which don't have that running in parallel and prod, and yeah, so dynamic fee is actually good. So it's like if you are in this soft liquidation underwater, you do have losses. But they are not instant; they are gradual, and like looks like the tricks we do, like dynamic fees, in addition to exponential moving average. These dynamic fees, they actually reduce this loss rate when in soft liquidation. But anyway, you probably don't want to stay in soft liquidation forever because it's fundamentally lossy. It's like price oracle fundamentally lag behind the real prices, and that is the real nature of the losses. So you, yeah. So but looks like they are all right. Just this needs to be used as a tool essentially, either as a safety tool if you, let's say, I don't know, if you are sleeping, you don't want to get liquidated. So that's a safety tool for that on one sense, or in other sense, you can set your loan parameters very, very conservative. Even when borrowing maximum, you can do that. And then losses are very small, so you can afford to stay underwater for many months, and that will be fine. But then you will need to pay something, I don't know, which is analogous to funding rates, I guess.
I see. Can you give us an insight on like a more macroeconomic perspective of the protocol? And what I mean by that, so in the normal protocols like the CDPs, you have a normal liquidation, which, when the price of the collateral goes down, someone liquidates the position and a lot of collateral is released in the market. And this creates this vicious cycle, where more collateral is released. How does it work with the soft liquidations? Do you have any insights? Would it be different?
Yeah, there are, with soft liquidation, I think if, like, let's say when collateral price goes down and soft liquidations happen, then obviously arbitrage traders buy CRV USD from the market, right? And so there is a upwards price pressure on CRV USD when collateral prices go down, and that, of course, means that CRV USD could go above 1, but we have also a peg keeper mechanism, which is filling reserves with stablecoin liquidity by minting CRV USD if it goes above 1, and that kind of keeps reserves for later when the process is the opposite to actually stabilize CRV USD.
So yeah, you're bringing something quite new, and my next question is, we have many different ideas on how to do stablecoins. Is it beneficial for the whole crypto ecosystem, for the whole DeFi space, to have this diversity in these mechanisms, or are some mechanisms strictly superior than others?
Yeah, I think it's very beneficial to have different mechanisms, especially if it's totally different approaches. There are different classes of stable coins. So for CDPs, that's probably great improvement over what was done before. But there are not only CDP stablecoins. Of course, stablecoins like Terra didn't show well, and that's probably understandable. It's a risky model from the start, but there are other models appearing these days. For example, one could say hedge staked ETH, and this model becomes popularized, and you can make a delta neutral position baking a stable coin. But the purpose of that stablecoin would be totally different than a CDP stablecoin. So CDP stablecoin is, I guess, fundamentally made by people making loans. So it's backed by loans, and there are different sorts of stablecoins could be backed by like totally different things. And it's very good that there are multiples, so they can be used for different purposes. And of course, they all can be used as a mean of payment as well. But yeah, the way they are created is like coming from different innovations in the field.
Yeah, so what's the benefit? Why would someone pick Curve USD, for example?
Yeah, I guess for if you want to borrow, that's clear. It's a soft liquidation mechanism. For holding a stable coin, I would say that soft liquidation mechanism is probably safer than traditional liquidation mechanism. So that's one thing which makes stable coin safer. Another thing is that we have peg keeping mechanism, which is very efficient. So it can keep very small stablecoin reserves to keep the stablecoin stable with the price as close to 1.0 as possible. And actually, that's not the only thing. There is also dynamic borrow rate, which is also changing specifically to keep the price of stablecoin stable. And for users of the stablecoin who don't really borrow it, right, the most important thing is that stablecoin maintains its value very well. So probably no one really wants stablecoin to go to 0.9 or something. And even if that happens, it's better if that happens for a very, very short time. So, and the system for CRV-USD is designed to really aim for stability. And I think that's something users could appreciate. But another thing is that it is, while being stable, it is predominantly backed by cryptos, not by redeemable stablecoins. Redeemable stablecoin backing exists, it's in peg keepers, but it is typically it is several percent of the full backing. So, and let's say 95% of CRV-USD backing is typically cryptos, which are non-censorable essentially, and yeah, so they are. I would say they have different risks than redeemable stablecoins, and it's better to have a stablecoin which has risks different from redeemable stablecoins. So so it tries to be that.
Okay, cool. And so you have all this mechanism, right? And apparently you can use it for normal lending, right? And here is where Llama Lend comes into play. So could you explain a little bit more what parts of the Curve USD mechanism you have kept, and what is new here?
Yeah, so the parts which are kept for lending is soft liquidation part, essentially, because that's kind of the same thing. You don't just borrow not from the system, which means stablecoin, but you borrow from other people lending, and the code is the same for those. There were a few modifications to allow like collaterals, which are to allow borrowed token to be not CRV-USD but also collateral, and they can have different precisions. So that's but the code is essentially universal. The difference comes with monetary policy. You don't really have to have borrow rates variable in the same way as for minting CRV-USD. So they don't have to depend on CRV-USD peg, and that's in some senses good because you have rates less volatile as a user, and maybe use less gas, but this system is not stabilizing CRV-USD itself. It's just an isolated borrowing system. And also the difference is that here you can have multiple people lending out, let's say CRV-USD or maybe cryptos if they want to give cryptos to other people's to short. So or to borrow and use in farming strategies. So this is essentially the difference, and also one can use in the next version, one can use something which users deposit as collateral to borrow that collateral, and so to be that's a little bit less isolated, but both ways will be possible. At the moment, you cannot let others borrow your collateral, but it's important to have both mechanisms up.
I see. And so, what are the risks, when it comes to protocols like this? What can go wrong?
So I think the probably the biggest risk is something which is associated with soft liquidation itself. So the one needs to find the safe market parameters really precisely. So for that I have a simulator being up and free to use for anyone who creates markets. Like parameters like loan-to-value ratio are significantly higher than in traditional lending. For example, if you borrow against ETH, you probably would be safe with up to 89% LTV. If you borrow against CRV, you probably will be safe up to maybe 83% LTV. But that is not some numbers which appear out of nowhere. It needs to be simulated using like realistic market conditions, like not only the best but also the worst, and seeing like at which parameters system can handle it. So it is important to calculate these safety parameters, but that's true for any crypto lending. So it's just a little bit more parameters than just loan-to-value ratio here.
So yeah, the parameter selection is very critical, in protocols like this. So is there any more room for innovation in such a protocol, such a lending protocol?
Yeah, I guess should be. One thing which we didn't do yet is we didn't include positions which do farming as collateral, and doing that is actually much harder than doing in traditional lending, but possible. So one of the next things would be collaterals like that. And of course, we didn't yet enable this two-way lending where you can borrow other people's collateral so that they can earn some interest while borrowing the other coin. So that's, but yeah, that's pretty standard in many lending protocols. So it's nothing groundbreaking here, but merging these things with the soft liquidation mechanism is something groundbreaking. But also, actually, one other thing which is like I would say research is happening on at the moment is to make not isolated markets, but I would say semi-isolated markets where you could select which markets you would want to be exposed to as a lender, and then the system would then you would not be exposed to risks of other markets. So right now you can just lend to one market or other markets or two of them at the same time, but you cannot have, let's say, funds you lent out for one market to flow to the other market if there is a demand over there. But actually it is possible to do. It is possible to do it so that you can have several markets kind of taken from your choice of markets at once. So let's say maybe I want to lend out to borrowers against Ether, against Bitcoin, and against CRV, and maybe someone else wants to give funds to borrowers against ETH and against I don't know, Uni, right? Which are overlapping sets but not the same, and it is possible to do something which allows that to be done, which I think is not was not really done anywhere yet in a scalable way.
Okay, so to summarize this, efficiency, in the way the capital is used is, in the way the collateral is used is what you're trying to improve, from now on. Can you hear us?
Sorry?
So I guess to summarize it, the efficiency of the protocol is what we're trying to improve from now on.
Yeah, I guess it's more about efficiency indeed, and capital efficiency, I think. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And to bring it to a close, what is, in general, in DeFi, what are you you expect to see, in the coming months, in the coming years? What's something that you think it requires improvement?
Right. So I would say first I would see improvements of the protocol, both CRV USD and lending. Essentially some updates for new markets, or like updates to peg keepers, and like what I described. But also these systems, they can be composed with other components in Curve in an interesting ways, and we will explore that. So maybe it is possible to use CRV USD to greatly increase capital efficiency of crypto pools. So that's interesting stuff, but yeah, it's requires some research. It looks promising so far in simulations.
Okay, awesome. Thanks a lot. We're out of time. So, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Egorov, thanks a lot.